Walk into any electronics store in 2026, and you'll feel like you've been dropped into sensory overload. Walls of glowing screens, each one screaming about quantum processors and AI upscaling. Salespeople throwing around terms like mini LED local dimming zones and cognitive processing. Every brand claims to be revolutionary. Every box promises the future. And every shopper walks out second-guessing whether they just made a great decision or an expensive mistake. Here's what nobody in that store will tell you. Some of these TVs are engineered to fail. Not all at once, not dramatically, but right around the time your warranty expires. Panel defects that don't show up for 18 months. Software that gets slower with every update. Backlights that dim until your bright living room TV becomes a cave painting. And in 2026, with more brands flooding the market than ever before, the gap between a TV that lasts a decade and one that dies in 2 years has never been wider. So today, we're pulling back the curtain. No sponsored talking points, no brand loyalty, just the raw truth about which TVs will make you regret ever stepping foot in Best Buy, and which ones deserve to fail their quality control tests. Let's start at the very bottom, because some of these aren't just bad choices, they're consumer traps. Number 12. On the Walmart gamble. If there was an award for most likely to ruin your weekend, On would win it every year. And I get it, you see that price tag, $178 for a 55-inch screen. And you think, that's not bad for a bedroom TV. You throw it in the cart, grab some groceries, feel pretty smart about yourself. Then, 3 months later, the screen starts flickering like a haunted house attraction. The backlight dims to half brightness, the Wi-Fi disconnects every time you try to stream something, and one random Tuesday morning, it just refuses to turn on. Here's what Walmart won't tell you. On TVs are built with some of the cheapest LED backlights in the consumer electronics industry. Many don't survive past the first year of regular use. When the panel goes, and it will go, the whole TV becomes a giant paperweight because repairs cost more than buying another one. And trust me, you don't want another one either. These panels aren't consistent. One person might get 18 months, another gets 6 weeks. It's a lottery, and the house always wins. Number 11. Element. The vanishing act. Element is the kind of brand that looks fine on the shelf until you actually plug it in and use it for a week. This is the TV equivalent of a cereal box that's 60% air. Colorful packaging, cheerful logo, nothing substantial inside. The panels are wildly inconsistent. Color accuracy is terrible. Dark scenes look like someone smeared petroleum jelly across the screen. And motion handling makes sports look like you're watching through a dirty aquarium. Many Element models are rebranded generic units made in rotating factories overseas, which means parts availability is a total nightmare. If something breaks, no parts, no support, no hope. One repair technician described it perfectly. An Element TV is like a scratch-off lottery ticket. Maybe you win, but statistically, you're going to lose. And in 2026, those odds haven't improved. If anything, they've gotten worse as the brand chases even cheaper manufacturing. Number 10. Westinghouse, the zombie brand. Westinghouse used to mean something decades ago. Those days are long gone. Today, the name is licensed out to whoever wants to slap it on a panel. Different factories, different components, zero consistency from one production run to the next. You never know if you're getting last year's leftover panel, rejected parts from 3 different suppliers, or a Frankenstein combination that nobody actually tested. The result is some of the worst panel uniformity in the industry. Gray backgrounds look blotchy. Whites look dingy. Blacks aren't black, they're blue. And the speakers sound worse than a gas station radio from 2003. These TVs struggle with HDR content. And by struggle, I mean they turn every HDR movie into a muddy, washed-out mess where dark scenes are unwatchable and bright scenes blow out completely. The smart TV interface feels like it's running on a hamster wheel. Menus lag, apps freeze, and sometimes just trying to open Netflix feels like booting up a Windows XP machine in 2026. No thanks. Number 9. Philips. US version only. This one's a mess because it's a massive case of brand identity theft. In Europe, Philips makes genuinely premium televisions. OLED panels, Ambilight technology, beautiful build quality. In the United States, it's a completely different company. The Philips name is licensed to Funai, the same manufacturer behind some of the cheapest budget TVs on the market. So American shoppers walk into Costco or Walmart thinking they're buying a world-class European television. But what they actually get is a budget panel with mediocre brightness, inconsistent quality control, and some of the weakest HDR performance you can find. This isn't just misleading marketing, it's consumer sabotage. One viewer explained it best. I bought a Philips thinking I was getting a BMW. Instead, I got the shell of a BMW with a lawnmower engine. That's not an exaggeration. The gap between European Philips and American Philips is that dramatic. If the bottom of the list is a graveyard of dead TVs, the middle is a minefield. Because this is where most shoppers get fooled. These aren't bargain bin disasters. They're the brands sitting at eye level in Best Buy with colorful demo loops running. The ones that look pretty good under store lighting. The ones every salesperson calls a solid choice for the money. But here's the problem. These are the TVs that break your heart slowly. Screen dimming that gets worse over months. Apps that crash more frequently. Vertical bands that show up one morning like ghostly fingerprints. Fan noises. Backlight failures. These are the TVs engineered to die exactly when the warranty expires. Number 8. Insignia, the Best Buy trap. Insignia is the brand you buy when you think you're being smart with money. You walk into Best Buy, a Samsung looks great but it's $700, a Sony is gorgeous but it's $1,200, and then boom! Insignia, 55 inches for $249. Nice box. Nice demo loop running in the store. Nice promise of getting a lot of TV for very little money. But here's the thing. Insignia isn't really a TV brand. It's a retail strategy. It's built on the cheapest panels Best Buy can buy in bulk, rebranded under a name that sounds harmless enough to earn your trust. And the problem with these ultra-budget panels is they age like milk left out in the sun. One day the brightness drops. Then colors start to fade, apps freeze more often. And by year 2, about a third of them start showing those dreaded vertical lines, the TV equivalent of a death certificate. A technician once told me, Insignia is the brand people buy twice. Once to learn the lesson and once to correct it. I couldn't have said it better myself. Number 7. RCA, the legacy ghost. RCA is proof that a famous name means absolutely nothing in 2026. This once iconic American brand is now a hollow shell, a zombie logo slapped onto the cheapest offshore manufacturing deals available. The number one complaint from owners? Panel failures. The second complaint? No replacement parts. None. When it breaks, you're done. Even worse, RCA has one of the slowest software experiences in the TV world. Imagine clicking on YouTube and waiting like you're dialing into AOL in 1997. Motion handling is terrible. Colors wash out at even slight viewing angles. HDR content looks like regular SDR. Regular SDR looks like someone printed a screenshot on a napkin and hung it on your wall. And when these TVs fail, good luck finding customer support. Their service line might as well be a voicemail inbox from 2012 that nobody checks anymore. Number 6. Toshiba, the almost good problem. Toshiba is the heartbreak story of the TV world. This brand used to dominate American living rooms in the 90s and 2000s. Today, their TVs are manufactured through licensing agreements using third-party panels, and the results are wildly inconsistent. Some Toshiba sets can look surprisingly good, but that's exactly the problem. They're a gamble. You never know what you're actually getting. Different factories, different panels, different quality control standards, different lifespans. Two people can buy the exact same model Toshiba TV. One person gets a decent panel that lasts 4 years. The other gets what technicians call a Monday morning panel, built by a tired worker at the start of the week, and it burns out by year 2. While the picture quality can be fine, the build quality isn't. Weak backlights, flimsy frames, slow processors, and operating system freezes that make you question your life choices. Toshiba is the TV equivalent of dating someone with potential. Potential doesn't pay the repair bill. Number 5. Vizio, the fall of a former champion. Now this one hurts to talk about. Vizio used to be beloved, the underdog hero, the people's brand, the company that delivered great value without the premium tax. But those days are gone. Ever since supply chains shifted and competition exploded, Vizio lost its edge. Build quality slipped. SmartCast became a glitch festival. Firmware updates somehow made things worse instead of better. And the new wave of TCL and Hisense models completely crushed Vizio in brightness, contrast, and reliability. You can still find a few decent Vizio models if you know exactly what to look for, but that's the problem. Most 2026 Vizios have at least one of the following issues: dimming zones that flicker, weak HDR brightness, operating system lag, app crashes, poor motion compensation, or premature backlight wear. One viewer wrote to me, "My Vizio updated itself overnight and somehow got worse. I don't even know how that's possible." I do. It's because Vizio is now a brand running on past reputation while the competition eats its lunch. Number 4. Samsung, the flashy overachiever. Who got comfortable? This one surprises people. Samsung isn't a bad brand, not at all. But in 2026, Samsung has become the definition of inconsistency. The flagship models are gorgeous. The top-tier QD, OLED, and Mini LED sets have incredible brightness, killer contrast, and amazing gaming support. But here's the reality. That's not what most people buy. Most shoppers land in the mid-range, and that's where Samsung quietly cuts corners. Edge-lit brightness that collapses during HDR scenes. Aggressive motion smoothing you can't fully disable. Colors pushed too far to look flashy under store lighting. Software updates that cause random bugs months after purchase. And some of the highest panel replacement costs in the industry if something goes wrong. Let's not forget that Samsung still refuses to support Dolby Vision, the HDR standard every other major brand supports. That alone puts Samsung behind TCL, Sony, and LG for many buyers. Samsung is still good, but not at the prices they're asking, and not as reliable as the brands about to dominate the top of this list. Now, we've climbed out of the bargain bin jungle and escaped the mid-range minefield. We're entering the territory where picture quality actually starts to matter, where engineering becomes intentional, and where you're no longer gambling your paycheck on a panel that dies right after the warranty expires. These are the brands that didn't get here by accident. They earned it through real innovation, real performance, and real reliability. But each of them reached the top for very different reasons. Different philosophies, different strengths, different trade-offs. Number 3. LG, the OLED champion. That changed everything. LG didn't just participate in the TV industry, they reinvented it. Before LG brought OLED to the mass market, everyone was stuck pushing LED technology to its absolute limits, fighting bloom, dealing with weak blacks, struggling with dirty screen uniformity, and throwing out marketing gimmicks pretending to be breakthroughs. Then, LG introduced consumer OLED panels, and everything changed. For the first time, regular people could see true blacks, perfect contrast, pixel-level lighting control, and cinematic color accuracy. A picture that feels like film, not a flashlight shining through plastic. The entire industry had to evolve because of what LG accomplished. In 2026, the LG C-Series and G-Series remain some of the best televisions you can buy for a serious home theater. WebOS is simple and clean, perfect for older viewers who don't want to navigate a maze of confusing menus. And the newest generation of panels includes better heat management and stronger burn-in protection. But LG isn't perfect. Their mid-range LED sets are very average. Their budget models are forgettable. And while OLED is visually stunning, it's still not the brightest option if you have a sun-filled living room with windows everywhere. Still, LG delivers some of the best picture quality on the market at prices far more realistic than ultra-premium brands. That's why they hold the number 3 spot. Not the most affordable, not the absolute best in every category, but a near-perfect balance of innovation and performance. Number 2. TCL, the value monster nobody saw coming. 10 years ago, TCL was an afterthought, a cheap import, a punchline. Today, they're one of the fastest-growing TV brands in America, and for good reason. TCL didn't win with flashy marketing campaigns. They won with performance per dollar. They doubled down on mini LED brightness, high contrast ratios, aggressive local dimming zones, huge screen sizes, low input lag for gaming, and truly competitive pricing. And the results speak for themselves. A TCL 6 series looks better than many Samsung mid-range TVs at hundreds of dollars less. Their 98-inch giants are cheaper than some competitors' 75-inch models. And in pure brightness and contrast, TCL punches far above its weight class. But TCL isn't flawless. Some panels vary in uniformity from one unit to the next. Motion processing isn't quite perfect. Budget lines can feel sluggish. And quality control isn't as tight as premium brands. Still, when you compare price to performance, TCL is unmatched. In 2026, they are the value king. You get nearly premium picture quality without paying the premium tax. And that's why TCL holds the number 2 spot. Number 1, Sony, the undisputed picture quality champion of 2026. If you want the best-looking TV in the world, the answer is still Sony. It's not hype, it's not nostalgia, it's processing power. Sony takes the same OLED panels other brands use and makes them look noticeably better. Their motion handling is unbelievably smooth. Their color accuracy is industry-leading. Their upscaling technology is the best in the world. Their tone mapping turns HDR content into pure cinematic magic. You can put a Sony next to an LG or Samsung using the exact same panel technology, and the Sony will still look more natural, richer, more immersive. That's the power of Sony's XR cognitive processor, the secret sauce no one else has matched. Sony isn't cheap. They're almost never the best deal. But the moment you turn on a Sony Bravia, you understand exactly where your money went. It's window glass clarity. It's real-life color reproduction. It's motion handling so natural it feels like the actors are standing in your living room. Even technicians admit it. Sony is the one brand I trust out of the box. No calibration needed. Sony doesn't chase gimmicks. They don't spam useless features. They focus on the only thing that actually matters, the picture. And that's why Sony holds the number 1 spot for 2026. Here's the truth. Nobody in the TV aisle wants you to know. Buying a TV in 2026 isn't about chasing the newest buzzword. It's not about AI upscaling, quantum contrast, or whatever marketing term they invented last week. It's about one thing: avoiding the traps designed to make your TV fail early so you're forced to buy another one. So before you spend a single dollar this year, here's the breakdown you need to hear. First, what you should never buy. Any TV from the bottom of this list: ON, Element, Westinghouse, or Philips US models. These are built to hit a price point, not a lifespan. Weak backlights, cheap processors, inconsistent panels, slow operating systems, almost no long-term support. They look tempting because they're cheap, but cheap is the most expensive lesson you'll ever learn. You don't save money, you lose it twice. Second, what you should be extremely careful with: Insignia, RCA, and Toshiba. These sit in the danger zone. They're not immediate disasters, but they're not dependable either. They function fine until they don't. Good picture for a year or two, then vertical lines, dimming, color drift, unexplained reboots, and lag that makes you question your sanity. If you want peace of mind, skip these entirely. Third, what you can buy but know the trade-offs: Vizio and Samsung. Both have strengths but also clear weaknesses. Vizio has fallen behind the competition. Samsung looks fantastic in stores, but mid-range models quietly cut corners, skip Dolby Vision support, and sometimes age poorly. These TVs can be good if you pick the exact right model, but most shoppers don't have that level of research time. Fourth, the brand's worth every dollar: LG, TCL, and Sony. This is where real quality begins. LG gives you pure OLED magic. TCL gives you shocking performance per dollar. Sony gives you the most beautiful image available on any television in 2026. You cannot go wrong if you stay in this tier. One more thing, where you buy matters more than ever. Costco is the best place for TVs because of their 2-year warranty and 90-day return window. Costco silently absorbs failures manufacturers don't want to admit exist. Best Buy is good for high-end Sony and LG models, but risky for budget picks since Insignia and Toshiba are strategically placed to look better than they are. Walmart and Amazon sell everything, but margins are high and failure rates are higher. If you shop there, choose a real brand, not a house brand. And finally, how to make your TV last twice as long. Turn down brightness from store mode. Avoid 24/7 news channels with static banners. Disable unnecessary motion processing. Keep ventilation clear. Run pixel refresher on OLEDs when prompted. Update software only when actually needed, not out of habit. Small habits create massive impact. A well-maintained TV can last 8 to 12 years. A neglected one dies in 3. The TV industry doesn't want you to know which models fail early. They don't want you to know which brands quietly cut corners. They don't want you to know that in 2026, half the smart TV features exist only to justify higher prices, not to improve your actual experience. But now you know. Now you're armed with real information. Now you can walk into any store and see through the marketing fog that tricks everyone else. So which TV are you leaning toward? Drop a comment below, and if this saved you from making an expensive mistake, hit that subscribe button because we're exposing more industry secrets every single week.